Instagram's added support for multiple images per post. I've got a neat trick to use that feature. So, when this was announced, I didn't really have a big strong opinion about it. And in most ways, it seemed to be kind of counterintuitive to how we use Instagram. One nice post that we kind of absorb and then scroll on and see somebody else's nice post. But as I was kind of coming up, brainstorming ideas for using this, I thought, there's been a couple of times where I've tried to share panoramas on Instagram and it's not well suited. Sure, you can get a panorama up there, but usually it's not too wide, and the wider you make it, of course, the bigger the letterboxing you have to do, so you end up with this very long, thin image that nobody can really get that impact of all of that wonderful panorama-ness. So, what about slicing individual images up from the panorama and putting them up in this multi-image post so that you can swipe through and see the whole thing? And Instagram doesn't even have little borders between it, so it becomes one long panorama that you can swipe through, and it looks beautiful. Now, this is really easy to do if you just want a 3-shot panorama, because there are tons of free apps that have been out there forever for people to put up their photo grids. That's when you look at their profile page where you can see all of their images, and people can put up a 3x3 image, or sorry, a 1x3 or a 2x3 or a 3x3. So if you just want to do a 1x3 image, you can use an app. If you want to do bigger, better, bolder than that, I've got a neat trick in Photoshop that really makes this easy. Let's take a look. I have my panorama all stitched together sitting in Photoshop. Now, this is a large image, 25,000 pixels by 5,000 pixels. Photoshop provides a really easy way to slice this up. Under the crop tool, you should have slice tool. If you don't see those two slice tools under there, you can go to Edit Toolbar, and they'll be listed over here in the extra. We really don't use these slice tools too often anymore, so Photoshop doesn't always include them automatically. You just drag them over to the crop area where they belong. Now, I'm just going to draw one big slice over this whole image, and I did that really sloppy, but of course it corresponds to the edges of the image. Now I can right-click inside this area and say Divide Slice. And I have the option to divide it vertically into 2, 8, Instagram will support up to 10 images at a time, but be careful, because as you get to more slices, your slices are going to be skinnier, and you're going to run up against Instagram's portrait or vertical aspect ratio of 4:5. So in this case, right around 5 is good. And if you want to double check that your ratio is in good shape, you can get something like the marquee tool, set the style to be fixed ratio, 4:5, and check and see if one of these will be fine, and we can see that it is not too skinny. It's going to be well within that 4:5. In fact, these look almost square to me, so 5:5. I think they are very close to perfectly square, and this looks good. So this is all going to work just fine. Now, go to File, Export, Save for Web. I'm going to choose a JPEG High, quality 80. And let's just zoom out a little bit to make sure it all looks good. And don't worry about the slices at this point. All looks good. I'm going to hit Save and call it Pano 1. Right here, slices, all slices. This is what you want. So all of those slices that you made, or that Photoshop made for you, are going to export. Now this is going into my Instagram's folder, which is a Dropbox folder which automatically syncs to my phone. Back on my phone now, I've got a shortcut to the Instagram folder. I go find that images folder, and here are my new images that have just entered the folder. And I want to actually click the little multi button that lets me select multiple at a time. I'm just going to select each of these and save to device. I just dump them in my downloads folder. It's very easy to do. This is a completely free setup. Dropbox is free. Photoshop and Lightroom aren't free, but you probably already have those if you're watching this video, because that $9.99 a month deal is fantastic. They take a moment to download. Once they're all downloaded, you can open up Instagram start a new post, and then click the little multi-post icon on the right-hand side. You do have to figure out which one was first. That was not first. This one was first. And then that was followed by this one. It would be nice if they put them in a better order. You might want to try to rename them alphabetically, but I think it's the order that they come into the phone that causes this instead. And then I think it's this one, then this one, then that one. So we can go next and we can test this out to make sure that it looks correct. Let's see if I put the puzzle together correctly. I did not. Let's pretend I did though, just for the simplicity's sake. But this also brings up another point. One of the issues here is the fact that your leftmost section of your Instagram or your panorama is going to be the first image that shows up. That's not always the most exciting and interesting piece. So when I first posted this out, I put a big arrow on it. One, because this was a new feature. I really wanted people to see that they could swipe to the side and see that it was a panorama over there. I don't necessarily think that's the best idea either, though. Somebody else suggested, and I think this is great, find the most interesting piece of your panorama. Put that as the image that's going to catch people's eye, and then of course put in the description that they can swipe over. That image is going to be repeated in the panorama, but you have an eye-catching image that they start with, and then they swipe in and see the whole complete panorama. I think that's a great idea. What do you think about this? Is this totally gimmicky and not something you're interested in at all? Or is it a neat feature? The only other thing that I've thought of that is truly useful, I think, for putting up multiple images at a time for somebody like me is to share with you all before and after images. So here's my after Photoshop and Lightroom editing. Swipe over. Here's what it looked like before. So you can kind of show the power of what you can do with sometimes a little bit of editing, sometimes a lot of editing. You have other ideas for using the multiple image posts? I'd love to hear them. You can leave them right down below. And I've actually been asked recently by several people to kind of give an overview of my Instagram workflow, more details about the Dropbox setup, and just how to make it all work, how to get new followers. I think you should participate in our weekly Instagram challenges is one way, but I'll be back to talk about all of those. So if you found this video helpful and you're excited about more Instagram related content, give it a quick thumbs up. And if you're not already a subscriber, you should do that, because I might be dropping little nuggets, little genius nuggets, not just little nuggets. They gotta be genius nuggets into your feed from time to time like this. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.